Hi guys, hope everyone's well. It's Rory here at Oliver Bernard. Welcome to another Golang in London. Today I'm with Artur Kondas. So it's going to be a slightly different talk today. We're going to speak about introduction to Go as a language. Artur's self-taught, and he's going to speak through basically his journey from day zero of never working with a language before to where he is now, hints and tips, and then what sort of thing he's been working on. So hi Artur.
Hello.
How are you? You good?
Good. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Surviving, but not too bad. But yeah, thanks for joining me. As I said, lots of people keen to learn a bit about the language, having not worked with it before. I know there's lots of online courses that people can do, but certainly keen to speak to someone like yourself who's self-taught. So if you want to give us sort of brief overview to what you've been doing over the last couple of months or however long it's been, that'd be great.
Cool. Okay. So, small intro about myself. I'm Artur Kondas. I'm a Go developer at ECS Digital, and yeah, so like that's the biggest overview. I work with automating test automation. So I work with AI a bit. I work with a lot of low-level stuff, a lot of high-level stuff, and everything literally from day one, from since I started coding, was self-taught. Like, I haven't had a teacher. I haven't gone to university to focus on computer science degree. I just woke up one day and decided, okay, I have to do something with my life because it's boring, and let's learn how to code. Yeah, so that's the smallest intro I can think about.
No, fair enough. Sounds good. I mean, certainly a good career to get into. I know that. So it makes sense. So, I mean, out of interest, when you first started working with Go, what drew you to the language specifically when you were looking to pick up things?
So with Go, it was a thing. I was working with a startup in London, and a friend of mine who I was working with at the time, one day he just went, "Hey, mate, there is an awesome language you have to learn. You have to just check it. It's called Go. It's amazing. It will allow you to do anything you want." And I was like, yeah, "Okay." Back at the time, I was working with JavaScript and Node.js and all of that backend stuff. Wasn't really pleased with it. I think there is a very big stigma about JavaScript in the community itself. It is for a reason. It is maybe a bit overhyped, but yeah. And I've started working with Go just to see what happens. Then few months after that, I switched jobs. I moved to ECS Digital, and they've been kind enough to just go, okay, if you feel like this is the route you want to go, and if you feel like this is the language you want to pursue your career in, just go with it. No pun intended now. So I was just, yeah, it just took me from day one onto a trip I really liked. And also it's written by Rob Pike. And I always forget Robert Grismer and Ken Thompson. I might mess it up, but two of these guys worked on Unix systems, and that, I think that's selling point. That's enough for me. Like,
Yeah.
if they say it's good, I'm good.
And they were all at Google at the time, weren't they? When they started
Yeah.
writing it, yeah.
I know that Mr. Griezmer was working on V8 engine back at the time. So he came from JavaScript into Go, and I think that was also a big kind of a thing. Like, he literally made a transition from writing the engine for JavaScript for browsers into writing Go. So I was like, well, I'm not there yet, but it plugs nicely. So yeah, let's give it a shot.
Makes sense. So from your point of view, obviously you said you worked with different technologies before you started working with Go. If you sort of had anyone come to you and said, well, why would I use Go over what I'm using now? Sort of what can it offer me that what I'm currently working with can't? What would you say the sort of main, I guess, positives of the language?
I would say the community, like, honestly, because we can talk about Go being fast, Go being easy to understand, Go allowing you to do basically everything apart from manipulating audio, but this is another stuff. But the community is something I haven't felt like ever. So
Hmm.
if you go with any other language, you will have haters of some kind of things in the language. You will have absolute avid fans of something, and then there's that gray area. Whereas in Go, I found that the community is very helpful. I've spent what right now almost a year on Go Slack channel,
Okay.
and the amount of stuff you can learn there is immense. It's like if you ask something there, I don't know how the fair works, or I don't know what's happening in this function, you won't get very Reddit-like response that I don't know, put your thing here,
Yeah.
but they will actually help you. Also, there's a very big community of speakers, and if you reach out to them on Twitter, they will be always keen to help.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing.
So where would you say where the main community lives? Obviously, you mentioned Slack and a few of them on Twitter. Is there much on sort of GitHub, Stack Overflows, that sort of thing as well?
So it is interesting when it comes to Stack Overflow because I haven't found that many questions on Stack Overflow if compared to any other languages, which
Hmm.
for me means that Go is easy to understand enough that if you're coming from the very beginner level, you can just work your way up. You don't have to ask a question, what is interface in Java, or why my Java file has so many names, or why do I have to call the class with 17 dots in between or something
Yeah.
like that. So that was a very big thing for me. For when it comes to GitHub, um, if you go with any DevOps tool, if you go with Kubernetes, if you go with Docker, Helm, Grafana, Prometheus, anything is hosted on GitHub. It's open sourced. If you want to start working with it, go. Just basically go. I've done my first big open source contribution last month to Grafana, and although I've messed up my first PR so badly, it was honestly one of the worst pull requests I've done ever, and I'm
Yeah.
not proud of it by any means. But the guys there were like, "Okay, chill out. We're gonna work it out. You have to do these steps in order to make it nice." And it's like a thing for everyone if they want to contribute to open source. They just go, "But what if I fail? What if my PR will be bad?"
Hmm.
In Go, there's no such thing as someone will bash you that, well, this is crap. No,
Yeah.
they will go, okay, let us build something nice out of it.
So there's no one sort of looking down on the junior developers
Oh
as
no,
how could you
no,
ask that?
no,
That's a stupid question or whatever.
no, 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 no. Like, I'm working a lot with awesome library by I won't remember his name right now. Doesn't matter. It's a driver for Google Chrome. Absolutely insanely good, and I was contributing for a while to questions, to issues, and I've never seen someone looking down on someone that asked how does it work or how do I enable Chrome browser functionality or something. They just go, okay, this is what you have to do, and to remember that these are the steps you need to do.
Hmm. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Makes sense. And out of interest, I mean, from my side, as I mentioned before, I'm not a technical person myself, although I obviously work within technology. I'm not a developer. I'm always interested to hear about when people start with new technologies. So when you started working with Go, was it right? I want to build a platform that is going to do this, and specifically go with that end goal, or was it more like I'm just going to look into it and just sort of see where it takes me without any sort of predetermined where I
Yeah.
want to end up?
So my belief in learning in general doesn't matter if that's a new language or baking or whatever, is just like just go with it.
Yeah.
It won't kill you, it only can make you stronger. So in my case it was, I'm gonna build some stuff. So like I've built I'm gonna check right now, what, like a year ago, my first API I've built with Go was an API to return all of my guitars in a house. So like I had a CSV file, something very simple, to which I've put all the guitars I had in the house, and then the API was returning the CSV.
Okay.
And I was the happiest person ever because it took me 2 commits. Three commits. I didn't know anything about Go at the time. I was doing a tour of Go. So if you like to start doing Go, tour.golang.org, there's a Go up to writing your own server, which is amazing. So I wrote that, and I was very happy about it because, well, it works.
Yeah.
And now 12, I've started Go, a while ago. So like, let's say a year plus, I'm writing gRPC services with microservices mesh, all that, kind of very big words.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's as you said in the very beginning, it's a journey. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to get a job as a Go developer. I'm lucky enough to have a job as a Go developer, but I was like, okay, JavaScript is not as fun as it used to be, and I want to move more into low-level programming. I want backend. Yeah, let's try it. Let's see what's out there.
Makes sense. Yeah, I know, really interesting. And I certainly think this could be a good thing to do. As I mentioned to you earlier, we're looking to get a few things out of this in terms of content-wise to share with developers. Might be people who haven't haven't worked with technology at all, aren't developers at all, like you, and just wake up one day and think, right, I want to give this a go. What do I work with? Might be people who work with other languages. So I think we get a few things together, which could be great. That was a really good interview and sort of overview of basically the language and what it can do. We said earlier that we'll probably record something else pretty soon, which is more of a sort of live coding thing that you'll be doing that we can follow. As I mentioned as well, I'm going to get a survey together to send out to people on LinkedIn and in the existing Golang in London meetup group for people to sort of say what specifically they might be looking for. Some people might be looking for generally, they might even say, what is the language or generally about it, or people might say, I want to learn about this or that. So we'll get that all sent out with this video as a good introduction to the language, and then we'll go from there and hopefully start answering some of these people's questions and put some events and things like that on.
Cool. Sounds great. Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, thanks very much for your time today. As I said, I'll get this out, and then we'll speak soon about a couple of other things we can do more specifically.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Great.
Cheers, Artur. Have a good day. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, you too. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.